Tasmania has avoided an early election after the Premier Jeremy Rockliff issued an ultimatum to the former Attorney-General Elise Archer. Let's go live to Hobart and bring in the political editor of the Mercury, David Killick. David, good to see you. How close were we to an early election here?
Good afternoon, Kieran. We were extremely close. The Premier issued his ultimatum overnight. The deadline was Monday. So Tasmanians were going to be going to the polls a couple of years early had Ms Archer not responded to this ultimatum from Mr Rockliff.
So what happens from here in terms of the Hare-Clark system and how her replacement will be chosen?
The Hare-Clark system is a constant and fascinating joy in Tasmanian politics. The system is the Electoral Commissioner digs out the votes that were cast for Ms Archer in the 2021 state election and recounts those and only those. Our expectation is that a Liberal candidate, Simon Barakis, is likely to be the member elected. That process takes 2 to 3 weeks, so Mr Rockliff is facing the prospect of being yet one more member down when Parliament resumes on October 17th.
Yes, indeed. What's the overall political equation at the moment? It's just a very narrow hold they've got on the Parliament in the first place. What's the mood like in Tasmania towards the government?
The sentiment, this is a third-term Liberal government, so you would expect over the course of 9 to 10 years in power that their popularity would wane. They've faced some difficult issues, particularly with the Commission of Inquiry into the government's response to child sexual abuse. They've had 2 members defect, ostensibly over the proposed AFL stadium. So the equation at the moment for the Liberals is they have 9 members on the floor of the House of Assembly plus the Speaker. Labor has 9 members. There's 2 Greens, there's 3 Independents, and there's 1 seat that, with Ms Archer's departure, is vacant.
Yeah, so super slender that hold on the Parliament. And I do recall, and I think you and I discussed at the time, that the lack of unity within Labor last election, it really damaged their prospects. Have they got their act together or has the disunity within Labor continued? Labor's
showing some flashes of brilliance and an ability to prosecute a case in Parliament, but the difficulties they still face with the member David O'Byrne, who was formerly the leader and is now sitting outside the caucus as a quasi-independent, though he's still a Labor Party member. And they also face the issue of pre-selection. They've shown in the past that they, like all political parties in Tasmania, sometimes have difficulty attracting the talent that they need to fill the many seats. At the next election, there'll be 35 in the House of Assembly, which is quite a lot for a state with 550,000 people.
Yeah, it sure is. And just finally, as we look ahead to what is likely to be the rest of the Liberal Party term in government, how long are we talking before the next election? And they've still got a bit of time to try and turn things around, haven't they?
That's right. I mean, Premier Rockliff seems to be adept at surviving existential threats to his government. So the next election is due in May 2025. He may just be beginning to show signs of being a survivor, having shrugged off this threat. But there's one thing that I've learned from probably 15 years of covering Tasmanian politics, and that is you need to expect the unexpected.
Yeah, well, it's like I often think about the Hare-Clark, like the Duckworth-Lewis cricket system. You need a lot of experience to try and decipher it. Thanks for doing that for us today, David. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.